my eternity on like a historical event that happened that may or may not be true.
I see.
And because of this, I have a very high doubt in much of the information that is sent to me. Does that make sense? That I receive.
So in other words, basically, when you read the Quran, you got a more universal message rather than to a particular tribe or people.
I never got the idea of Islam per se. I never got the idea that there's like a religion of Islam from the Quran. I got there's believers and there's Muslimin.
It speaks to everyone.
Exactly. There's Muslimin, but I never got like the 5 pillars of Islam. Like the Shahada is not there. Like a lot of it is not there.
The Shahada is there. Not the term Shahada, but the concept is there.
Of course, yashhadu, I've seen this. Like,
exactly.
Yashhaduna innaka anta rasul, no problem. I'm saying the idea that you guys built like 5 prayers around the Quran when it's not there at all.
Are you sure?
The 5 prayers. I mean, I've seen like the Duluk al-Shams, for example. I've seen that explanation where it's like morning, Duluk al-Shams, which actually means 3 times, and then late, and then after late. Which is basically like sun, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib. I don't really buy that, to be honest with you, because I looked up Duluk, what it means. It just means when the sun is in.
So you know when you read the Quran, you don't actually just look at one verse or one chapter.
No, I looked at Sunni's explanation for why there's 5 prayers.
Yeah. So when you talk about the 5 pillars, okay, that includes not just the prayers, as you know. That includes the zakat, that includes the fasting in Ramadan, that includes the Hajj, and obviously it includes belief in Allah as the first pillar. Okay? So what do you think about the other pillars?
So for example, Ramadan. Okay? I looked up Ramadan in the dictionary. It means the hot month.
It means the
hot or excruciating heat or dryness.
Okay.
Okay?
Which dictionary do they look at?
Lexicon.
A lexicon.
Lexicon. It just means Ramadan comes from the root word Ramad, which means to be in excruciating heat or dryness.
Right. So you looked at the lexicon, and whoever wrote this lexicon, you trust him fully?
No, I don't trust him. I'm just looking at the root definition. What could it possibly mean?
But if you look at every root definition, yes, there are many words which have completely changed the meaning entirely from what it used to be as a root word. But that's not the way a person reads a book, you know. Imagine you're reading Shakespeare and you come across a word which doesn't make sense to you. So you look up the dictionary. Yes, you look up the dictionary and you put it in context of that particular sentence or statement. Sure. You don't just go and look at its root word like it would be in search. It's called a concordance, you know. A concordance would have and explain to you the root words, but then there are lexicons which explain to you how that word is applied in certain context. So the lexicon will actually give you more information about the context rather than just a root word. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying when you read the Quran, the same applies. Yes. So Allah tells you to pay zakah, yeah? Yes. Now, if I were to ask you what is the minimum amount a person needs to pay, how would you know that from the Quran only?
Okay, so number one, I don't believe that zakat means zakat. I'm pretty sure zakat means purity, because every time zakat is used in the Quran, it's not used.
Allah tells whom to give the zakat to, and it includes the poor and the needy and the orphans. Now you're telling me that zakat means what? Sorry?
No, it says yunfiqu mimma andhum. So like they give what they have
to whom?
To these people.
Yeah. What are the categories?
Orphans, people without yatim. I honestly don't quite remember. Like,
okay.
But I know
so the orphans, the needy.
Yes, it says to give all these people.
Sorry, what does zakat mean to you?
Zakat, I looked at the root word. It means purity.
Purity.
That's what it means.
So why would you give purity only to the poor people?
No.
Everyone deserves purity?
So ata, the word ata, ata zakat.
Atiyu zakat. Atiyu zakat means what?
Well, atiyu zakat.
Yeah.
So the root word, there's 3 or 4 meanings to it.
Right.
The first one is pay. Second one is give.
No, ata means to pay, not the zakat. Atiyu zakat.
Yes. Ata means to pay or give or I don't quite remember the other ones. But what I'm saying is that zakat means purity.
Yeah, but
that's
I'm asking you the question.
Yes.
Is there only a certain set category within the society whom you give zakat to, or is it for everyone?
Actually, the ayah says they give what they have to these people, and they aqimus salah, and they.
You're not understanding the question. Let me repeat.
Sure.
listen this time, and it's important.
Sure.
You know the society has a lot of people in it.
That's correct.
Okay, we have poor people, we have not very poor people, we have rich people. So we have different categories of people. But the zakat is only applicable to certain category. Now, if you're, the Quran tells you who, and one of them are the orphans, the others are the needy.
No, could you give me the ayah? Do you know which ayah it is?
I don't know off the top of my head, but there are lots of passages we speak about zakat. The question to you is this.
It never says zakat.
Wait, listen to me. You cut me off before I finish.
Sorry.
Okay, the question is this. When you say zakat only means purity,
Yes.
is that the understanding from those passages in the Quran?
That's what it seems like to me when you take the word zakat and apply it everywhere. That's what it means.
Okay, so here's the question to you. If it means purity in every context of where it appears in the Quran, yes, isn't purity something that is applicable to everyone in society?
That's correct. Yes.
So zakat would be applicable to everyone in the society, right? Based on your logic.
If somebody believes in God, they add to zakat. Yes.
Yes, but that's the question to you. Do you think, based on those passages in the Quran,
Yes.
zakat is applicable even to the rich people?
Of course.
No, it's not.
It doesn't matter if you're rich.
It is the rich people who give.
No, but
It is not the rich people who receive
There's
zakat.
no ayah in the Quran that says zakat is to pay to certain types of people.
There is actually. There is.
The people who believe they
No.
yunfiqu. It's not
No,
add to zakat. They
that's
yunfiqu min ma'an.
not true. You want to bring up the ayah, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
If you can bring that, sure.
It tells you the categories. In fact, there is I think 5 or 6
I know what you're talking
categories
about.
of people.
The ayah starts with yu'tu zakat. They yunfiqu min ma'andihum. The certain types of people, and then it says وَيَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيَأْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ.
Yeah,
so
to whom?
basically it says to pay all these people plus to solely and then to pay zakat. I kind of don't buy that. I'm sorry?
It says yet to zakat, so it's give purity. How does that make sense?
So that's what I don't quite, to be honest with you.
Okay, here it is.
The complete understanding
Here
is
it
not
is.
fully.
Are you from Iraq by any chance?
Syria.
Syria. Okay. Because there's another Iraqi person who was asking very similar questions. He looked a bit like you. I thought you might be related. Okay, here it is. So this is in Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 60. It says here, As-sadaqat. Here it means that zakat are only for the fuqara, the poor. Who are the fuqara? They are not the rich people, for sure.
Sorry. Chapter
960. Chapter 9, verse 60. Okay? And al-masakin, again the poor. And those employed to collect them, the fund collectors, yes?
إنما الصدقات.
Yes,
Sadaqat is not zakat.
Zakat is part of the zakat. So if you look at the Islamic,
That's the Islamic. That's if you're trying to. I'm saying if we're just reading the Quran, sadaqat, it means like it does not mean zakat.
What does it mean?
Sadaqat is like something that you have that you're giving.
and zakat is?
Zakat means purity. That's what the root definition is. It means purity.
What is the root definition of sadaqat then? Why do you always go by the root definition? You're someone who knows the context.
I'm saying I'm reading
going
the
by the root
Quran as it is instead of like having.
We'll give you zakat as well, no problem.
Sure.
Okay,
There's no zakat,
so in the case of sadaqat, which actually here it means the zakat, yeah? It says these are the people you give, and these are the ones who are the fuqara and the masakin. Okay?
Sadaqat means just charities. That's what it means. It means charity.
Okay. Sorry?
Sadaqat means
So does
charity.
zakat in the context here. Yeah, they're interchangeable, yeah.
I don't quite buy into the like the changing the meaning whenever you want. I don't quite buy that. I think the Quran is using the words as they are, and I don't really buy.
No, but you're not
into
looking at the
changing
words
as what the interpreters.
No, with all due respect, you're not looking at the word as they are. You're looking at the root words all the time.
I'm looking at sadaqat.
I bet you look at the root word of salah and you mean something else other than prayer. Am I right?
It does mean something other than prayer.
See what I mean?
But it does mean contact prayer. It does mean that.
What does the term Quran mean to you?
Quran means recitation.
Recitation. What about the Quran that's mentioned in the Quran? What does that mean to you?
What does that mean? Like,
Tell me.
Can you give me an example, like what you're talking about?
Yes, like for example, the Quran is in Arabic in Surah Yusuf at the very beginning.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
This recitation is in Arabic. Yes.
This recitation is in Arabic? Okay,
this
so
Quran
do you believe that the Prophet ﷺ actually got the Quran? Did he receive the revelation? Is that the Quran?
Yes, that's the revelation. What he got is the Quran. Yes.
Yes. And the Quran is something that is preserved to this day?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
I believe it.
And the Quran also tells us that the Prophet ﷺ explained the Quran to us.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that.
Okay. So where is this explanation of the Quran?
So number one, the explanation is whenever it says tubayyin, yubayyin, it talks about explaining to the people of the book from before. Okay, like if you read it in context, it starts with talking about the Jews and the Christians, and tubayyunahum, so to show them, to make clear to them.
Who makes it clear to them?
Tubayyin does not mean to explain; it means to make clear. It does not mean.
Yeah, but who makes it clear?
Sorry?
Who made it clear to them?
Muhammad. He made it clear to them.
Yes. And how would you know where this commentary of Muhammad is?
The Quran makes it clear to them what they are disputing about.
No, it's not like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would just read it verbatim.
He
would explain.
That's exactly what he did. That's
so that is not then making it clear. Because if I want to make clear to you, I wouldn't just read. For example, if I read a sentence to you, yes, you will tell me, no, the root word of this is this, yes? Because from your logic, you're explaining it to me, you're not just reading the word to me. Am I right? Sure. So even by your own understanding, explaining something doesn't just mean reading it as it is.
It's not explained. It's to make it clear. He's making clear
but
what they argue.
Now you're playing semantics. Making it clear and explaining something.
Not the same.
In this context, it's semantics.
To make something clear is in like something that they are arguing about. He is making it clear. For example, the Jews argue that Jesus didn't exist or it doesn't matter, and the Quran makes it clear to them that no, Jesus is your Messiah. That's what it said, that he is your Messiah. We sent Isa ibn Maryam to the Jews as the Messiah.
No, that would be the Prophet ﷺ just reciting the Quran.
That's exactly what he did.
No, it's not exactly what he did. No, he did more than that. He actually explained.
What it says. It says the only job of the Rasul is to recite, to give the Quran.
Okay, so you're saying salah means something else. What does salah mean to you?
Salah?
Salah.
It means contact prayer. To be honest with you, like it can mean contact prayer, but that's like the only plausible definition.
Sorry, what does it mean? It means what?
Contact prayer, like just prayer.
Contact prayer.
Like you're making connection, like connection prayer.
You mean just, what do you say? Just...
not dua. Like,
yeah, why not dua?
Sorry?
Because dua is also praying.
You're making a request, right?
No.
So you're doing like you're connecting with God.
Yeah, but dua is also connecting with the God.
Sure, if you want to take dua as part of salah, no.
But you just said it is not dua. Now you're backtracking.
Okay, sure. I apologize. It doesn't really matter to me.
It does matter because the thing.
It doesn't really matter.
No, it does matter. I'll tell you why. Because salah is not the dua in Arabic. Okay?
I know it's not.
Okay, if you're going to look at the root word of everything and then derive the meaning, wait, hear me out, and then you're going to derive the meaning, then you would actually not follow the 5 pillars of Islam even. So I don't know from what angle would you consider the Quran as a muhaymin to you?
Muhaymin, what does that mean? If you don't mind. I don't know what muhaymin means.
Muhaymin means an overseer. It's something like...
It is.
Yeah, so it basically identifies the falsehood from the truth. Okay? Identifies the truth from the falsehood.
That's correct.
So, in that case, how would the Quran be a muhaymin if you don't even know the terms in Arabic? For example, the muhaymin, the term I just gave you, didn't know the meaning of that. Now, when you're reading the Quran, hold it. No, hold it. I'm not judging you by one word. But I'm sure there are many words like that you don't understand from the Quran. Am I right?
I could say something to you and you wouldn't understand it. Does that mean that's...
But I'm not the one making the claim that I understand the Quran based on my own whims and desires.
It's not whims and desires.
It is. In your case, it is. Because you're saying I will translate it based on the root words, which happens to be from a lexicon, from a person that you don't even know.
Yes.
Am I right?
But
so I would rather wait.
It's not like it eliminates the options of...
No, it does actually. I'll tell you why. Because when you take someone's testimony, yes, then you put your faith in that person already.
That's correct.
Yes. Now that person can be wrong. Yes. Same thing applies to the entire Quran. You know, when you try interpreting it based on a dictionary or a lexicon, or even just the Arabic language, which you might have a limited knowledge of, then you will never understand the full message of the Quran. Am I right? Because you're limited already in the tools that you have.
I think it's clear though that what you need is pretty clear. It's not in the first.
How do you know what's needed?
It says this is a covenant of those Alif Lam Mim Dhalika Kitabu La Rayba Fi Hudan lil Muttaqin is guidance to those who are weary or cautious of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you know you're conscious of God? How did you identify yourself as being
I understand that
Al-Muttaqin?
God is there, and I know that there's Judgment Day, and I know that I'm going to be accountable for what I'm going to do.
Right.
So that's.
Will you be accountable for the salah that you pray?
Yes.
Yes?
That's correct.
So Allah tells you on Jummah, when you hear the call of the prayer, yes, to leave your work and approach towards prayer. Now how would you, as a person who goes by your own explanation and understanding of the Quran, take that message about Jummah?
Okay, well, Juma means get together. It's not
A gathering.
a day.
Yes.
Okay?
Jama'ah, it means from the Jama'ah,
Yes,
from gathering.
Juma, yeah, so
A congregation.
It means to get together, right? It
A
doesn't-
congregation.
Sure.
Yes?
It does not mean that you need to go on this day. Right? Like this is a day that was named after. Actually, I don't want to make a claim that it was named after or before. I'm not sure if it was named after or before. But the day Friday, you don't know that if it's.
Well, it's a particular time, right? It's not every day.
Sure.
So Allah tells us when you hear the call of prayer on Jummah, yes?
So I'm telling you, when there's Jum'ah, that's
Yes.
when you go to pray. So when people get together, that's when you go to pray. So I'm saying, you're making it seem like the Jum'ah is Friday, and I'm saying
I'm not making it seem anything. I just asked you, what is the time that Allah stipulates in that ayah?
there's a get together.
Yeah, when is a get together can be every day.
That's what Jum'ah is. If you're trying to make it a pronoun, if you're trying to make it Jum'ah a pronoun, then you're obviously.
Do you think the Arabs didn't know the days of? How would they say Friday in Arabic during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Well, I looked up the months before. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, and Ramadan.
Not the months. I'm
before
talking about the
Ramadan-
days. Jummah is not a month.
No. Thanks, man. I didn't know that. All right.
But the question I asked you was about the days, not the month.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like, I'm not quite sure how they arranged days. I'm sure they had days before. It's just like how Sabbath, I'm sure before the Jews, Sabbath was not Sabbath.
Let's not divert into others.
I'm saying-
Just answer the question I asked you.
Okay.
How would they know, how would you know, based on the Quranic ayah, which particular time is Jummah?
Jum'ah is get together. If you don't.
So
look
any
at-
gathering, any
When people
congregation.
get together to pray, go pray. That's right.
Okay, so people get together in the church. Will you go pray with them? Not to be insulting you, but just based on what you just said, would that be a gathering?
That's a gathering.
And they are praying.
Okay. It
Would you
depends.
go join them?
Is it the same prayer?
I'm not. That's the question I'm
Is it
asking
the
you.
prayer of Quran? Is it like,
Habibi, that's what I'm asking you.
okay.
You said you defined it as just a gathering and people praying. I'm asking you in the church they do that. Would you go join them based on that ayah?
Obviously not.
So what would be the gathering that you're talking about? That
People are
Allah is
trying
talking
to
about
pray
here.
according to like what the Quran is saying. Like if you're going to pray to one God, go and pray. Go join. That's what it says.
They pray to the one God. That's what they claim.
Okay, allegedly.
Well, allegedly, that's what they claim.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that if you don't try to make it a pronoun and try to associate with it, then it doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
But hold on. Jummah is a particular time. Do you not agree with that? A particular time, Allah tells you. Allah doesn't tell you do it all the time. Okay? Sure. Allah tells you at a particular time. So the question to you as a person who self-interprets the Quran, how would you interpret this ayah?
It's a society thing.
It's a society thing?
Yeah. Like if,
So you just follow the crowd.
No.
Basically, that's what you're saying.
I'm saying, like, if the society of believers believe, like, oh, we should go pray on this day. People are free on this day. You can go and join them. That's what it's saying. It does not mean that you need to pray on every Friday. It never specifies any of this.
So when do you pray? That's the question. When?
I told you. A
society thing. A society can gather many things.
I think you're missing. I don't think the Quran is a guidebook to establish a society behind. I don't think it's that.
You don't think what?
I don't think the Quran, you can establish societal rules behind the Quran. I don't think you can do that.
What do you mean? When you say established society, we are an ummah, are we not? Allah talks about the ummah in the Quran.
It does.
So what does an ummah mean to you?
An ummah means people who are the same mindset. Basically.
Society.
Yeah. Sure. What I'm saying is that the Quran is not a book to base all of society's laws based on. Okay? It's not that, because it doesn't have everything.
I didn't say it has everything, but it has everything in terms of
That's important. It has the interest, the sex laws, like the basically.
the sex laws.
Yeah, like
What sex laws?
marriage.
Marriage laws. Okay.
Marriage laws. Like
Right.
these things.